Dog raised abandoned lion cubs, but 2 years later something shocking happened. A German shepherd stepped in as a devoted mother to 2 lion cubs who had been tragically abandoned by their own lioness. However, years later, something extraordinary unfolded. In a small wildlife reserve called White Lion, a lioness named Jenna had been living peacefully for a year. Then, on September 18th, something remarkable happened. Jenna gave birth to 2 adorable cubs, 1 male and 1 female. However, this was her first experience as a mother. Having been rescued from the wild after nearly succumbing to a severe illness, Jenna had arrived at the reserve weak and wary. Her past struggles left her restrained, distrustful, and uncertain. Tragically, this resulted in her failing to develop maternal instincts, and she ultimately rejected her newborn cubs. For 3 days, the reserve staff watched anxiously, hoping Jenna's maternal instincts would kick in and she would begin caring for her cubs. Sadly, their hopes went unfulfilled. By the 4th day, it was clear that intervention was necessary. The veterinarians stepped in and removed the cubs, brother and sister, from their mother. Both were severely emaciated, having not been fed by Jenna at all. The reserve staff even feared the cubs might not survive, but fortunately, the veterinarians managed to feed both with a nourishing milk formula from a bottle. And within a week, they already looked much better, and their lives were no longer in danger. However, the staff understood that the nourishing milk formula alone would not be enough for the cubs without their mother and her milk. The animals would grow up weak and skinny, not resembling the graceful African predators, and their health would be very poor. Fortunately, a family from a neighboring town agreed to transfer their 8-year-old German shepherd named Allie to the reserve to nurse the cubs. The dog had recently given birth to puppies and had plenty of nutritious milk. Veterinarians know well that dog milk is suitable for many animal species, including lion cubs, as it contains all the necessary components for the normal development of the young. Of course, when Allie first entered the enclosure with the little cubs, the entire reserve staff was silent with tension. Fortunately, the dog accepted both cubs, and within minutes, they began to suckle her nourishing milk, allowing all the staff to breathe a sigh of relief. The veterinarians were very pleased, as it was a unique case where a member of one species accepted the offspring of another, especially wild animals. The most surprising part of this situation was that Allie, since her puppyhood, could not stand cats and always barked at them. But in the case of the cubs, the amazing dog immediately sensed that the young needed urgent help and soon became their real adoptive mother. Of course, the cubs needed much more milk than ordinary puppies. But the veterinarians were not worried, as Allie had already given birth to up to 8 puppies at a time, and she had nursed them all by herself. This time, the dog had only 1 puppy, and she had no trouble feeding him along with the 2 lion cubs. When the cubs significantly grew in size and weight a few weeks later, the staff just added a bit of the milk formula to their diet in a bottle. The little lioness was weaker than her brother, and her health initially caused concerns among the veterinarians. But thanks to the help of the German shepherd, she managed to recover and catch up with her brother in development. The cubs quickly began to grow and started playing cheerfully with each other under the constant supervision of Allie, who not only fed both cubs, but also meticulously licked them every day with her tongue to prevent them from getting fungal or other dangerous diseases. At night, the dog warmed the adopted children with the warmth of her own body. Several weeks passed. The cubs had grown significantly and even became larger than their adoptive mother. Their sharp teeth and claws posed a danger to Allie, so the dog was taken back home, and the cubs were moved to a new spacious enclosure where they felt great and continued their development. The entire reserve staff was very grateful to Allie, who had saved 2 abandoned, defenseless creatures. 2 years later, both cubs had turned into beautiful, graceful lions and lionesses. Allie's owner, invited by the reserve director, came there with his dog so she could see how her adoptive children had grown. The German shepherd gazed at the imposing African predators for a brief moment before suddenly dashing into the enclosure. The reserve staff tensed, unsure of how the adult lions, who hadn't seen their adoptive mother in 2 years, would react. The lions immediately approached the dog, sniffing her cautiously, their intentions unclear. A staff member, alarmed by the sight, prepared to rush into the enclosure to pull Allie out, fearing the lions might harm her. However, the reserve director quickly stopped them, sensing there was no danger. He recognized what was happening. The lions had recognized their adoptive mother. Within moments, They began affectionately rubbing against Allie with their thick fur, a clear display of their enduring bond. The cubs lay down beside Allie, reverting to the little, defenseless cubs they once were. Allie, their devoted adoptive mother, began gently licking her now fully grown charges, showing that even after 2 long years, she had not forgotten them. The scene was so profoundly moving that many of the reserve staff were brought to tears, and Allie's owner stood in awe, deeply touched by the enduring bond and unconditional love between a mother and her children, even when they belonged to entirely different species. What an incredible story! If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. See you in the next video.